The next 2 weeks on General Hospital are poised to shake Port Charles to its core. From a medical mystery haunting Britt to Carly making a surprising proposal and Drew plotting a dangerous new path, fans should brace themselves for nonstop twists, heartbreak, betrayals, and unexpected returns. Let's dive into this creatively explosive 4,000-word spoiler-packed ride across the next 2 weeks. Dr. Britt Westbourne has been riding high since her miraculous return and breakthrough with Liesel. But just as her life seems to stabilize, a new medical complication emerges, and this time, it might be fatal. At GH, Britt collapses during a routine consult. TJ and Portia rush her into tests, but Britt knows what's happening. The Huntington's disease she thought she was controlling is progressing unpredictably. While Liesel demands experimental treatments, Britt resists. She hides her diagnosis from everyone except Austin, whose growing feelings for her complicate the situation. Meanwhile, Liesel's obsession with curing Britt returns in full force. She secretly contacts Victor's old lab associate, who offers an unapproved therapy with high risks. Desperate to save her daughter, Liesel may go rogue again, risking not only her license, but possibly Britt's life in the process. By week's end, Britt begins experiencing severe tremors, and during a hospital gala fundraiser, she publicly stumbles and slurs her words, triggering concern from Brooklyn and Maxie. The woman once known as the Britch may soon be fighting for her dignity and her life again. Carly Spencer isn't used to being on the back foot, but after months of chaos, from Sunny's betrayal to Nina's manipulations, she's ready to regain control. With Bobby's legacy weighing heavily, Carly unveils a new plan to honor her mother, purchasing and expanding the original Kelly's Diner into a franchise model, Carly's. But it's more than a tribute. Carly proposes a bold business pitch to Olivia: turn Kelly's into a national chain of comfort food restaurants with community centers attached. Olivia is intrigued but wary, especially with Ned facing legal woes. But what really shocks everyone is who Carly wants to help fund the venture: Valentine Cassadine. Valentine, seeking to improve his image in the wake of the Pikeman scandal, agrees to a private meeting. The two strike a surprising deal that leaves Sunny furious when he learns Carly is working with his former rival. To complicate things further, Nina, desperate to mend fences with Willow, begs Carly to include Crimson in a PR campaign tied to the Kellys' expansion. Carly's response? Only if you vanish from my life after. Nina is left speechless, and with Willow growing distant again, Nina may do something drastic to change her fate. Fresh out of jail and burned by everyone he trusted, Drew Kane is no longer playing nice. After being manipulated by Nina and betrayed by Valentine's broken promises, Drew secretly connects with Kai, the mysterious operative formerly linked to Pikeman, and offers a deal. In exchange for helping dismantle Brennan's remaining network, Drew wants full immunity, financial backing, and, most shockingly, protection for Scout in case anything happens to him. But it's not all business. Drew's emotional core is unraveling. He blames Carly for moving on so fast, resents Sam for keeping him at arm's length, and begins a slow, dark spiral. He meets with Alexis and floats the idea of writing a memoir, not about Navy SEAL missions, but about the betrayal of justice in Port Charles. Sam warns him he's becoming unrecognizable, but Drew coldly tells her, "Maybe I was never who you wanted me to be in the first place." By Friday, Drew makes a risky move. He plants false intel about Pikeman's new target and watches as Jason and Anna scramble. He smiles. Let's see who they protect now. As Britt's condition worsens, Jason begins noticing inconsistencies in her behavior. When he corners Austin, the truth spills. Britt is battling Huntington's again, and it may be terminal. Jason is blindsided. He rushes to Britt's side and confronts her about the lie. She lashes out, insisting she didn't want pity. But Jason doesn't walk away. Instead, he promises to stand by her to the very end. This moment sparks a tender kiss and a deeper reconnection. Could the Scorpion and the Britch get a second chance? Meanwhile, Liesel's rogue experiment begins behind the scenes. But when TJ learns about the unauthorized treatment, he reports it to Monica. Liesel is suspended, and Britt's condition destabilizes further. By week's end, Britt is rushed into the ICU after seizures. Jason, Maxie, and Liesel gather, facing the unthinkable. Britt may not make it through the month. Carly's business venture takes an ugly turn when the first location's lease falls through, thanks to a mysterious investor outbidding her. Olivia suspects Tracy, but the real saboteur is revealed to be Valentine. In a shocking twist, Valentine demands a controlling interest in Carly's new venture in exchange for backing the project. Carly explodes, she trusted him. But Valentine coolly reminds her, "This is business. You taught me that." But the sabotage doesn't end there. Valentine secretly meets with Charlotte and tells her, "We're taking control of this town." No more sentiment. Charlotte's return stuns Lulu, who has just regained full cognitive capacity. Lulu and Valentine clash over their daughter's involvement in Yelku affairs, and Lulu threatens to take Charlotte and flee. The Cassadine War may be starting anew, and Carly's caught in the middle. Ava Jerome is not someone easily intimidated, but when she catches wind of Drew working with pikeman remnants, she becomes curious. Their paths cross at Windmere during a covert meeting, and what begins as mutual suspicion shifts into flirtation. Ava, tired of being under Sunny's thumb, proposes a deal. "You give me what I need to escape Sunny's grip. I give you the Cassadine secrets that could blow this town apart." Drew initially brushes her off, but Ava's insight into Valentine and Nicholas proves too valuable. They share a moment of vulnerability, and by week's end, the two share a passionate kiss, just as Carly walks in. Carly is floored, and Drew barely blinks. While Christina prepares to launch her new shelter for abused women, a dangerous threat looms. A former pikeman ally, thought dead, resurfaces and begins stalking Christina under a false identity as a donor. When Jocelyn and Molly both sense something is wrong, they go to Sam, who uncovers the man's background. He's been linked to human trafficking operations overseas. Dante begins a full-scale investigation but is too late. Christina vanishes just before her shelter's opening ceremony. Sunny spirals. He suspects Ava, but she denies involvement. Meanwhile, Drew tells Sam he can help find Christina, but only if she convinces Jason to back off his investigation into Drew's affairs. Sam is torn. The race to find Christina could cost another life and expose Drew's darkest secret yet. As hope fades for Britt, an international call comes through to Liesel from none other than Peter August. Yes, Peter survived the last attack, faked his death, and has been in hiding. Now, learning of Britt's failing health, he offers a solution. Revolutionary trial he helped fund in Europe, one that could reverse certain degenerative effects. But there's a catch. Peter demands immunity and full visitation rights to Maxie's children. Liesel is stunned. Jason wants Peter dead. Maxie swears she'll never let him near the kids. But Britt, desperate to live, tells Liesel, "If it's between my life and your vengeance, choose life." The deal is struck in secret. But Anna, overhearing the transaction, warns Liesel, "If Peter sets foot in Port Charles again, I will end this. Permanently." Michael and Willow's marriage faces collapse. Michael finds out Willow has been communicating with Liesel about Britt's condition and hiding it from him. He accuses her of dishonesty, and Willow, weary from grief and guilt, blurts out, "Maybe I married the wrong man." Brooklyn gets an offer she can't refuse. Blaze returns with a new music deal, one that involves leaving Port Charles for a year-long European tour. Brooklyn must choose between her music dreams and her family ties. Chase urges her to follow her heart, even if it means saying goodbye. Esme awakens. In a final stinger, viewers see a hidden room in a foreign hospital. A nurse walks in, revealing a familiar face lying unconscious. Esme prints. Her eyes snap open. Where am I? The answer will change everything. The next 2 weeks on General Hospital are explosive, heart-wrenching, and thrilling, packed with complications, deals with devils, reunions no one saw coming, and the slow unraveling of Drew's soul. As Britt's life hangs in the balance, Carly stakes her future on a bold idea, and Drew chooses war over peace. Port Charles prepares for a reckoning. But this is just the beginning. Stay tuned, because the real game, And the real heartbreak begins when Esme returns and Peter comes knocking.